You're very welcome to this panel, ladies and gentlemen. So I'd like to start with you, Jackie. What role is Zembo playing in transforming urban transport in Uganda through e-mobility? And as you come in, I would like you to unbundle that e-mobility. What is e-mobility? Is it, electronic mobility, electric mobility, internet? Every time you see an E, there's an internet, electrons.
Thank you. So those who don't know Zembo, I don't know if you have seen any green electric bikes. Yeah, so what e-mobility is basically interventions or innovations transported that enable you to get from one place to another. So it could be a two-wheeler, a three-wheeler, a four-wheeler, but it's powered by, let's say, electricity, right? And so the energy that's powering it is electricity, or it could be grid, it could be solar, any form of energy. Yeah, so that's like an electric vehicle. That's how I can bundle it. And at Zembo, what we do is that we locally produce electric bikes. So those are the two-wheelers. That's why I've chosen to specialize. But then we also provide energy as a service. What I mean is that we operate battery swapping stations that provide the energy that you use. So instead of you going to a fuel station, you go to a battery swapping station. Yeah. And that's one of the ways that we are trying to transform urban transport. And we have seen the benefits there because, one, it's very clean energy. For those of you who don't know, majority of our energy comes from the grid, and it's over 90%, and it's very clean power. And you'll find that if a normal rider averagely maybe uses 20,000 a day, if they're to use an electric bike, they're able to save about 5,000 because, one, our costs are really in terms of energy, they're not as volatile as fuel costs, but then they've also proven to be cheaper. So for the same journey, you'll find that a person who's operating, let's say, a Zembo bike, they'll make money equivalent to a traditional bike, but with less trips. But we have also seen that in terms of maintenance, there's no engine, right? So you don't have to worry about having maintenance. Probably a motor, but it could be like once a year, or maybe a change of a few sprockets here and there. So it's really beneficial, especially for the riders that are doing this commercially, because we have seen them happy with the results in terms of they're taking more money home to their families. You'll find that they're even referring another person, or they're even buying a bike for a family member. So it's really being transformation in their lives in a way. Yeah, and that's something that we're happy to contribute at Zembo. But also we have ensured that every rider can actually afford it. So our prices are really competitive within the market rates, even with traditional ICEs. And so we ensure that we even have flexible payment plans for them so that they can own it. Maybe if you want to transition from an ICE bike to an e-bike, you can actually, own it. But even like the feedback we get from like users generally, like let's say me, you, a general client that a Boda rider is taking, it's very comfortable. Yeah, there's no sound, it's very calm, there's less noise pollution, air pollution, and things like that. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Jackie. I've had a lot of wonderful things. One, local manufacture. You're doing the local assembly, you're creating jobs, it's cheaper to use, you're using clean energy. It looks like a wonderful story. So my question is, why don't we have, as many of these electric motorcycles on the market? What is the issue? What challenges are you experiencing today, and what bottlenecks should we overcome in order to ensure that we have these appliances on the market?
The biggest limitation, honestly, is charging infrastructure. You'll find that we're competing with fuel stations that are across the country, but with the swapping network, it's so limited to, let's say, maybe extending all the way to Mbara or maybe up to Jinja, eastern side. So the biggest thing usually is charging infrastructure, and that's because also it's very capital intensive in terms of investment. So that has moved a bit quite slow, and that's why we're trying to innovate around affordable solutions, but also scalable plans. If you came in through Ujo here, probably you would have seen a swapping station for Zembo. We have introduced what we call an automated swapping cabinet that works 24 hours, but it's also cheaper for, let's say, a user or maybe a franchisee to own, so that we can scale to various parts of Uganda, besides just being here around Kampala. So that's one of the ways that we're trying to tackle these problems. But I can't say right now it's mainly charging infrastructure, but then also the financing. The other bit is the market that we're dealing in is a bit rigid. So when you talk to a Boda rider, he'll be like, what's an electric bike? He's so used to what he's is used to seeing, right? And you'll find that majority actually of our sales come through referrals. So he has to get someone else to like confirm, and he gets confidence that this product actually does work. It does produce the benefits that they're actually talking about, not just giving him a test ride and it works. So we have seen that a lot of this is word of mouth, but also it takes a bit of time to convince them, go the extra mile and maybe give them a test ride, offer them we care packages. So it sort of like attracts them to come into the sector and also realize what it can do for them. And the stories are really invaluable. You find that so many of these go back and maybe they recommend someone else because they've seen the benefits. So besides the rigidity, one of the biggest problems they're trying to solve is really infrastructure.
Thank you very much, Jackie. I mean, it's such a wonderful story, and I'm glad to to hear it coming from a young lady. And I guess this should serve as motivation to those who want to take up such an opportunity. But also, in line with today's theme, how is Zembo working with local communities? And in line with today's theme, how is Zembo working to improve our environment for a better tomorrow?
How we work with local communities, a lot of what we do and our operations targets the communities that we're in. Take, for example, myself, a lot of the women and youth who work with Zembo, it's a new field. Most of us have learned what we know practically on job. So majority, you'll find that, for example, me, myself, or Zahara has probably recommended someone to come through our doors and maybe apply for a job if you have an interest. But we also go the extra mile to reach out to organizations, let's say like Smart Girls Foundation, to try and pick the talent in there, that when they come on board, they sort of understand the nuances of the sector, because it's still a new field and these skills are actually not taught in school, but we're doing this locally here. So all the production, the assembly, the cabinet is all being done here. So a lot of training goes up front in just getting the right skill set. But then also just going into the fields and talking to the clients. You'll find that every single day our CEO is actually encouraging all of us to go out there and may recommend a Zembo bike to someone, because the fruits are visible. Yeah. What the other thing that we're doing in the communities, just the jobs in terms of, like, let's say, swapping stations. Majority of these stations are operated by human beings who are us. So a lot of job employment is there as well. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Jackie. I think my last question for now is, do you ride an electric motorbike? And
That's
how? Today,
one.
did you come riding an electric motorbike?
I wish, but you'll see some outside the stations. No. But it's actually a very easy bike to operate. It's not like the ICE that you have to kickstart. It's very automated. So I would encourage any woman there. It's very easy to balance, to come and try it out and have the experience. So
okay, great.
We also have a couple of women riders on board. We're trying to encourage them to get into this business because we have seen what it can do for them. And they're happy. Yeah, they're happy with the bike and the product.
Great. Thank you so much, Jackie. We've had a story about riding electric motorbikes. It's feasible. You can ride it, whether you're a woman or not. There's an opportunity for employment. And indeed, riding electric vehicles saves the environment, because we are reducing our fuel consumption, our fuel footprint.